Hey guys, and welcome back to the Scrumpy Kiwi with me. Thanks guys for watching all of these series of me building my first terrain board, and I hope you guys have really enjoyed it because here it is. It is all done. All in all, I couldn't tell you how many hours I've put into this, but I'm really happy with how it's turned out. Yeah, it's just been so much fun, and it's just really boosted my confidence completely with the hobby as a general, just because I know I can actually put my effort into it and come out with something like this. So here you are guys, this is it. As you can see, a lovely muddy colour there with the rubble in the background there, the buildings. The green you can see there on the right hand corner at the front, those are the tanks. And down here, that little grey thing sticking out there in the crater, that's the the little sewage pipe I wanted. And so I'll give you guys sort of a closer look. So yeah, like I say, all in all, it's probably, I think it's been about 2 weeks. That's not continuous mine, but that has been sort of on and off, doing as much as I can when I can. The base of it, of course, is wood. The middle layers are polystyrene cut roughly into the shape of all the stuff that I was going to then sort of build up on top, and the detail, of course, has been done using filler. These little things here, like the tanks, those are all, of course, spare bits off some Flames of War sprues. Dotted around it is bits of wreckage, bodies. Most of the bodies have been left the same colour that the rest of the board has been painted, so that is just some very cheap kids quality PVA paint, not PVA, sorry, acrylic paint, like really cheap stuff, but just mixed up. It was black and brown, probably 3 parts black, 1 part brown, mixed up. Then, sorry, with the base coat first of all with black, then the brown and the black on top, followed after that with just layer after layer of progressively lighter and lighter browns. The highlights to all of the edges of the trenches and stuff, that was probably, oh crikey now, what am I, we were probably saying 3 parts black, 1 part brown, and let's think about this, maybe 6 parts white. I mean, really, if I'm honest with you, the majority of it was just by eye, when I thought something looked the right colour, and then just applying it. Yeah, like I say, the soldiers were the same colour as the rest of it, but what I've done is I've highlighted them in white and then given them an ink wash in a brown wash, and that's then just what it's meant is that they stand out a little bit, but they also still maintain that dark colour, like they've sort of been lying there for a while, the mud's sort of starting to creep in and take them. The pipe in here, as you can see, the pipe was a 1-to-1 mix of grey and white, followed by, once that had dried, followed with a 2 parts white, 1 part grey sort of overcoat. Then it was given a white highlight with a wash, and then after that it was given then another little white highlight around the edges, and then that sort of got this really nice sort of just this dirty grey look to it, while still picking out the ends there. The little sort of pool of sewage that's coming out of it, that is that's the Vallejo Russian green mixed with Vallejo black. I wanted a bit of quality paint in there just to be sure I could get the effect I wanted. Yeah, that was mixed in and painted on. Then I used the GW Goblin Green, or whatever it is now, Snot Green, I don't know, whatever they call it now, but the equivalent, that mixed with a bit of Vallejo black as a highlight. Sorry, no, that's not true actually, no, sorry, it was the GW green with the black, and then the highlight was just the GW green. What else have we got going on? What else sort of was really fun to do? All of these little wooden slats are cocktail sticks that I've just literally picked out, broken the ends off so there's no spiky bits, and then just pushed into a sand and PVA glue mix. That was the trenches have all been painted with that, with PVA glue and sand, and then the sticks applied so that they could be pushed into it slightly to look like sunk into the mud. The wood was originally a brown and white mix, again about 1-to-1 roughly. It was painted over that. Then it was a brown and 2 parts white mix to highlight, and then after that I then got purely some brown and just gave it a very tiny run over all of them, just so that brown colour actually could be differentiated from the rest of the board. The rest of the board's very brown and dark, so I wanted the wood to stand out. The wood actually looked like, whilst it had taken a beating over however long this trench has been here, the colour was still there. You could still tell it was wood. The buildings, all the rubble, again, just progressively starting off with a very dark mix of grey, steadily working up, making sure that every time I was applying new layers I was pulling it back away further and further towards sort of the key areas of it, and then at the end was almost a completely white highlight, just to bring out little aspects of detail. And as you can see, what's nice is whilst it still maintains that sort of broken and gritty look, it still also stands out from the rest of the board. And yeah, that's about it. The other little things, just like the effects in the road, the way the texture is different from the rest of the board, the way that was achieved was again very simple. When applying the filler to the entirety of the board, I was just literally slapping it on, using mostly my hand. When I say built by hand, I literally mean it. Using my hand, sort of using a dabbing effect to get the muddy texture. But with the road, I used an actual like applicator, like a very smooth trowel or spatula, I guess you'd call it. And then I used that, and then I would pull the filler flat with it. And then the bits that you can see that are sort of all pulled up, that was literally taking a model tank and literally just patting it through. So what it does is it pulls up the earth like pulls up the filler, to make like the earth has been pulled up, but you also occasionally can just about, if I get out of the shadow, just about make out tank treads in it. Just about, not too much. It wanted to look like the mud had sort of just slowly started sinking back into it, but you can just make out a couple of things. And likewise, either side of the road, to give the impression this used to be a proper road, I've applied the same broken gravel that I've used for the rubble. I've applied it there. Again, sorry, I should say, with the piles of rubble, originally that was a PVA glue gravel mix, applied in it was a very stiff mixture, applied in lumps, and then over the top of that, progressively more and more layers of gravel with just PVA glue sprinkled. The PVA glue applied to the top of the PVA glue and gravel mix, and then gravel dropped onto that. So what you get is this very strong core structure to the gravel deposits, but then you've still got the texture of it on top. That's not lost by the PVA glue. For really all of it, the idea was to try and maintain the idea that this was that sort of the mud was reclaiming it all. So I actively made sure that things like the wooden slats they're sticking in, they were used, first of all, they were stuck in just with filler. Then once that had dried, PVA glue was applied to sort of morph it into the base. And then super glue was applied again. Now be careful with that, because if you've not really covered your polystyrene in filler, that super glue is going to melt the polystyrene, but I made sure that it was. So I then gave it a very good cover in super glue, so it literally was rigid in there, because it had to be able to stand up to all the dry brushing it was going to receive. And then after that, then of course it was the sand and PVA glue mix to give the sort of mud effect in the trenches. And that all in all has meant it's very stuck in there very well, and very strong. What other little tricks and tips do I find used really well? Hoovers. Your Hoover. Never be afraid once you've sort of covered like flock or anything, or any like sort of loose stuff you've put on the board. Never be afraid to take your Hoover to it and get all that excess up. Likewise, when you're dry brushing, the filler, naturally little bits of that are going to come off. Again, when you're doing it, don't be afraid afterwards to go over with your Hoover, pull it all up. You can leave it on there, but I prefer to know that everything on my board is how I meant it to be. And as you can see, testament to that is that over there, just on the cut of that little trench over there, there's a bit of white poking out. That's just where I damaged the board, which was careless. So I may just put a bit of wash in there. Likewise, as I was saying in the previous video, when you're aerosoling this, when you're using spray paints or super glue, be very aware whether or not they're going to be melting the polystyrene underneath, because if they are, you're going to get, if I can, there we go, I think you guys can see it, those two little holes there on the road just as it dips down into the trench, those weren't intentional. That was where the aerosol melted the polystyrene. But I added it to it. I sort of worked around that. I filled it in with the paint and made sure the highlight was on it, caught it, and it just sort of, I don't know, like a little sinkhole or something like that. I mean, you know, you make up whatever you want. And yeah, guys, that is it really. I think that's probably the sort of the small and long of it, or big and small of it, however the saying goes. Oh, I don't know. It's very late and I'm very tired. But yeah, thanks so much, guys, for staying on board with this and following it. Thanks for all the comments. Any comments you guys want, perhaps on anything you're unsure of that I've not explained in the videos, go for it. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks I will begin maybe the second tile, or the second board. But if I'm honest with you, I really want to get to painting some models. I've got so much to do. I've got my Space Wolves, I've got my Spider Queen, I've got my Goblins, I've got to get all of that done. Plastic Soldier Company have brought out some very nice tank kits. I'm umming and ahhing about sticking in a German army list somewhere for Flames of War. And on top of that, I'm thinking of actually properly starting a Warhammer 40k 2nd edition Horus Heresy army for my own little sort of gratification, as well as thinking of trying to get a couple of friends involved and doing our own little tournament, perhaps a Great Crusade one or a Horus Heresy one or whatever. But yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for being involved. Hope you've enjoyed this. I'll just show you the tanks quickly. There they are. There's a little men there, all mangled up. And yeah, guys, thank you very much indeed. Like I say, feel free to take this video and use whatever you want from it, bits and pieces. You know, get involved and comment and ask for any help you guys may want if you're building something and you think I can help you out. I'd love to be able to be part of that. And yeah, guys, whew, it's been a big one and I've really enjoyed it, and thank you so much for, like I say, just sort of being there and sort of being encouraging with your words and all that and comments. And I hope you've enjoyed it, and I shall see you in the next video. So thanks very much. And my goodness, 13 minutes, that's a new world record. So see you later, guys. Take it easy. Have a good one. Bye.